Alright, this is your boy NaptownBorn. I'm going to talk about last night's, three last night's matches. Well, the three matches that happened last night. Darchinyan and Guerrero. Now, Guerrero, the kid has a lot of heart. He had a hell of a chin. Darchinyan popped him, and the fucking guy wasn't going down. He looked more of a brawler than a boxer, and maybe that's not his area. Maybe he needs to work on being a better boxer because he does not have any power. While he was getting hit with shots, he also popped Darchinyan a few times, and it never looked like it phased him, not one little bit, not at all. Now, I got respect for the guy because he fought 12 hard rounds, never went down, always kept coming, and always wanted to throw punches. Now, he did end up getting slowed down, but that's because Darchinyan slowed him down. But the point is, he always wanted to mix it up. I mean, if you're going to take anything away from the fight, you know, he got his ass whooped easily, but he's young, he's got potential, and maybe we want to see him on more of a step ladder coming up type of deal. We don't want to see him fighting the top guy right away. I fucking hate that. I can't stand it when the top guys don't fight other top guys. I really just can't fucking stand it. So that is going to be enough of me talking about that because I don't really give a fuck who Darchinyan fights next. I'm more of a welterweight and up type guy, and I'm sorry it is that way, but at 115 I really don't see anybody but Donaire for him to fight, and that's probably because I don't know enough about the division. So I'll let y'all drop your comments on that, and we'll move on to Devon Alexander versus Juan Urango. Urango got his ass kicked, man. I mean, he looked like he might be trying to mount some sort of comeback, some sort of offense there in the middle, but he was outclassed. Alexander is just on another level above Urango, and that's just the way it is. Now, who should Devon Alexander fight now? I got three names that come to mind. One of them is going to piss some of y'all off, and I don't care because it's how I see it. And I really see this one that's going to piss everybody off. I see him as the top guy. So, here's the names. Edwin Valero, and I want Devon Alexander to stay at 140. So stay at 140. Edwin Valero, Tim Bradley, or how about Zappavigna? Come on, man. Now, I know. Zab's washed up. Zab's done. Zab will get knocked out. Alexander will kill him. Bradley will kill him. Blah, 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 blah. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think a lot of respect has been lost, and I can even quote me as saying Zab's done a few times, but in my heart of hearts, I don't believe it. I just don't believe it. He does have problems. He's made mistakes, and his mistakes have cost him, okay? Especially training mistakes. This guy just never seems to be in the shape that he should be in, and if he was in that type of shape, do you realize how hard he would be to beat? If Zappavigna just took it upon himself to make himself a fighter that goes 12 and fights 12 all the time, you know what I mean? If he would just make himself that type of fighter, pace himself a little bit better, or train a little bit harder and gain a little bit more stamina, I mean, who can really lay a claim that they could beat Judah and just say that? I mean, that would be a very short list of people. Maybe Alexander or Tim Bradley or Valero is one of them. I really don't think Valero is one of them. I think out of all of them, if you're going to put them on a step ladder and say Alexander goes from, out of those three, goes from the least threatening guy to the most threatening guy, to give him a loss, I say he would easily beat Valero. Valero just seems small. Is he 140? I think he's smaller than that, but that's still a name that jumps out to me, and I think the fight could happen and be made at 140. Anyway, I think Valero would be the next step up, then Tim Bradley, and then Zappavigna. Now, and I'm basing that off of Zab hopefully making improvements, like it looks like he had. I know it was against a shitty boxer, that Hernandez guy, but he did look good, and like I said, it just goes to show that Zab is still better than most everybody else, because you can't just throw a chump in against him and expect to have a fight. You can't do it. Zappavigna's too good for that shit. Okay, so that aside, I'll take y'all comments on that and see who, maybe you can drop some other names, see who we can get a discussion going about who Alexander should fight, maybe who Tim Bradley should fight, or Valero, or if Zab's done or not. Now I got a whole nother video about Zab, so if you want to do that, check that video out, and we'll talk there. But there was a robbery that happened last night, and I'm going to call it a robbery because it was ridiculous to think that Zappavigna, it was ridiculous to think that he won that fight. Split decision or not, I think it was a split decision. One went to Angulo, Fernando Angulo, and two of them went to Zappavigna. But even the close card for Zappavigna, though, that 115, 114 or whatever, 115, 130, I think it was 115, 114, that was horse shit. It looked to me like Angulo going into the 12th had a comfortable lead, even with the point deduction that he got. And the point deduction was kind of horse shit. It wasn't really, I mean, either one of those guys you could have took points away for at any point in time, maybe during that fight, I mean, for doing the same kind of things and holding and shit. So, or not breaking when they're supposed to, but he did hit him cleanly after the break, and that was kind of bullshit. But I personally don't think the point should have been taken away, but I can see how some of y'all might. Even with the point taken away, though, Angulo clearly won that fight. He clearly won that fight. Very clearly won. And the 116 and 111 scorecard for Zappavigna that's just total garbage. And this just goes back to me believing that those kind of scorecards should be reviewed, the judge should be reviewed, and maybe fines should be laid, because that's garbage. I mean, you just cost the man a win, and the guy won. Angulo won that fight. Okay, you just cost him a victory, and he took the fight on short notice. It wasn't even like he had even 2 months to train for this fight. What did he have, a month, if that? And then he had weight problems trying to make the weight coming down. He was forced to run for like what, 2-3 hours, and he only lost half a pound. I mean, he was just, they were worried that he wasn't going to make it past the 6th or 7th round. And he fought 12 hard rounds against an up-and-coming young boxer, undefeated, Zappavigna from Australia, and he won. He beat him. I can't, oh man, it's just, it just hits you right there when you know the guy was just ready to fight anybody, and he gets thrown in there. He's just always like, he's just one of them guys that just gets thrown in the line of fire, and he finally comes up with the victory, and you know, a good victory against a good up and comer that people are talking about, and he surprises everybody, and then this bullshit. Now what? So Zappavigna gets to go on and have another better fucking fight against a better guy on a better television program, and guess what? If he fights somebody better than Angulo, guarantee he gets his fucking ass kicked again. He's just not that good. And Angulo, while he may not be the top world-class fighter ever, he certainly beat Zappavigna that night. So let me hear your thoughts on that too. Those are my thoughts. And I really can't see an argument for Zappavigna winning the fight, man. It just clearly to me, while he won some rounds, he didn't win a lot of rounds. He didn't win half the rounds. He didn't win, I don't think he won 5 rounds. I think at best you gave Zappavigna 4 rounds, take the point away from Angulo, and you still have Angulo. Tell me what you think, but that's what I think, and this just goes to another list. Since I came to YouTube, which was last September, there have been a whole slew of bad judges, bad decisions, just a bunch of bad crap that's went on in boxing, and you know, with the falling apart of the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight that was supposed to bring boxing back, and you know, and get everybody all excited again. Everybody should start getting excited about Mayweather versus Mosley, Pacquiao versus Claudio, the 2 good fights, and let's hope both of these fights go without any fishy stuff, if you know what I mean. Just clean, by the book, follow the rules, everybody box, fight, and do what they do with none of the bullshit. No bad scorecards, no horrible fucking referees, none of that bullshit. I don't want to see none of that bullshit with these 2 big fights. You know what I mean? So, I guess next up, Manny Pacquiao, Josh Clottey. For that fight, I will be on here doing my round-for-round breakdown and the post-fight. If it's not the night of the fight, then it'll be the next morning. This is NaptownBorn. Deuces.